It's when you start adding these effects like the crystal, the heat, the lo-fi that it really comes into its own. But then you can go from that sort of sound to something like this. Dark Mandolin by EPS gives you the best of both worlds in terms of sound. You're getting both that intimate and organic sound of a mandolin, but also some really cool and unique textures and presets that they have curated, all for the full price of £34.39. Works within the free Kontakt Player, which is absolutely awesome. Now, a quick disclaimer, EPS did sponsor this video, but my words and opinion are my own, and as always, I'll let the samples speak for themselves. Now, this library is 1.15 gigabytes. You're getting 5 different patches: a natural sound, tape, room, duo, and swarm, and then within each you're getting quite a few different presets as well. I'll show you some of my favorites. But if we jump into the free version of Kontakt, in terms of the UI, on the left we have distortion settings with heat and burn. On the right, lo-fi and a carve effect, which is really interesting. We also have a filter and envelope, which is pretty standard, a sequencer, of course some reverb, and then there's really cool crystal effect that you can freeze as well. It's pretty consistent throughout the different instruments as well. But let's start with the natural one and just hear how it sounds out of the box. Personally, I feel the out-of-the-box sound is pretty standard. It's not terrible, but it's not blowing my mind. Even when you strip it back, you do get this nice, intimate sound. I almost wish you could be a little bit closer, more in your face, but it's when you start adding these effects like the crystal, the heat, the lo-fi that it really comes into its own. Now add a little bit of distortion, some harmonics. Now a little bit of lo-fi. Add a little bit more body and maybe bite to that end. That bite really affects that bit at the end. To go a step further, you can freeze it as well. I'm going to take this reverb back ever so slightly and let's put a deep plate on that. Now, if you add burn, you're adding quite an intense distortion. If I just slowly pull that up for you. See what I mean? But in all honesty, I do quite like that. I like the fact you've got the heat and then the burn. It just turns it into this crazy metal, dark mandolin electric guitar sort of vibe, which is super cool. But then you can go from that sort of sound to something like this. It has a certain charm for it, especially when you bear the price in mind. For something unique. It's really quite cool. Right, let's look at some of these different patches. Let's move on to the tape and just play it out of the box. Really quite velvety, that one, and as you can see there's a few different presets as well. That one really utilizes the bite on the carve as well. Right, moving over to our room one. And I think I prefer the space of the room compared to the natural one. It's got this really nice, as I kind of said, coffee vibe sort of effect. You also have this beautiful warm room, which is probably my favourite preset from the rooms. Just adds a little bit of heat, some harmonics, a touch of subtle distortion. Moving on to the duo. Really cool stereo effect, and again you can really hear what the bite's doing there. If we take that up, just loses that just it does on the end. If I over accentuate it, that little flick at the end, definitely a tool to utilize, and they're definitely worth fiddling around with to try and get it to how you like it. Right, that's duo. The stereo bounce up is actually pretty cool. A little bit synthetic, but great, I feel, for something electronic. And of course you can adjust that with some really nice little parameters here. I like the fact that there is a little sequencer in here. Moving on to the swarm patch, this is certainly the most unique one out of the bunch, although I feel it's a bit harder to control and the presets are a little samey, but this is how this patch sounds. And then just to show you what I mean, we'll try a couple different ones going on to the crystal swarm. It is simply that swarm patch, but with the crystal bit turned on. I feel this would work really nicely if you just hit a root note and played a little melody in the left hand actually. And another one. I kind of wish there were some different arpeggiated versions. And another one. Again, it's that same sound, just with a different character. The only one that is starkly different is the reverse impact. Almost video game-esque, that one. Overall, for the price tag, I feel you're getting a really good variety of quality sounds. I really like that just out-of-the-box room sound, but at the same time, you've got that duo has this really nice stereo effect. Natural has some really good presets, and especially when you start integrating the UI and the different features available, it really comes into its own and has this beautiful, unique character about it that's different and will bring something different to your composition, especially for what, £23 currently, £35 full price. That's not bad at all for what you're getting. I love the UI, beautifully designed, and the fact that it works within the free Kontakt Player. A lot of libraries at this price tag require you having the full version, so that's a really nice added feature, as they do have to pay to have it work within Kontakt Player. And so for that price, you can't go wrong. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think of this library? What other mandolin libraries out there do you like, especially within this price tag? I know that there's some £100, £200 that are obviously better, but bear in mind that price tag. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.